Check, check. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are arriving to the end of our afternoon, but we have one more amazing set of music. How about a huge round of applause for the Shuckers today? The judges are still deliberating. We're not sure who's won. We'll get that information to you in a moment. But in the meantime, I don't think I oversold this guy. I think he's done pretty well. Huh? What do you think about Shane so far? Are you ready for some more music? All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's put it together for Shane Pendergast.
Thanks, Kelly. All right. I'm going to try a real one you don't hear every day, but I figure St. Patrick's Day is a good day to do it. It's a Shane MacGowan song. Does anyone know Shane MacGowan of the Pogues? And this is one you don't hear every day. It's called The Dunes, about the Great Hunger. Well, I walked today on the cold gray shore where I watched when I was much younger, as they built the dunes upon the sand for the dead from the great hunger, for the dead from the great hunger. Although I was a doctor's son, I gazed in fear and wonder as they perished from the raging plague that came in with the great hunger, that came in with the great hunger. When I watched at the age of 4 in 1847, mounds they built upon the shore, they seemed to point to heaven, they seemed to point to heaven. My brothers and my sisters died, my mother only 4 and 20. I alone survived to see the potatoes growing plenty, the potatoes growing plenty. Now the wind and the rain, they have worked away the dunes, they are all uneven. The children kick the sand around, the bones they are revealed then, and the bones they are revealed then. As we died in vain, they stole our grain to put upon their tables. The dying covered the dead with sand, danced while they were able, and danced while they were able. While the fiddler played, we drank poteen, then ate the last of the berries, then knelt and said the rosary round the mounds of dead we'd buried, round the mounds of dead we'd buried. Saw dark shadows rise up from the sky, dance all around the dunes. Oh, they danced the rattling dance of the dead to a set of mournful tunes, to a set of mournful tunes. A crack of lightning split the sky, the rain on the dunes it poured. I left them dying where I shot them down, the bailiff and the landlord. Then I went for a drink in Westport. I walked today on the cold grey shore where I watched when I was much younger, as they built the dunes upon the sand for the dead from the great hunger, for the dead from the great hunger. Thank you. Shane MacGowan song. All right, let's liven her up here. Well, there's nothing I love more than singing songs and playing tunes and drinking tea. Well, we're landing into Luke's place where the tea is always hot, and we're lugging our guitars to his warm and welcome spot. We'll sit around the table, we'll belt our songs with glee. If you want to make me satisfied, just give me tunes and tea. Well, tunes and tea, tea and tunes, play guitar, play the spoons. We're jigging and singing and swinging and swinging tonight. Well, tea and tunes, tunes and tea, that's the life for me. With tea and tunes, you're bound to feel alright. In the summertime, the Kayleys out from hibernation come with guitars, flutes and fiddles, the old accordion. Oh, the people come from all around to hear and laugh and see us funny-looking fellers playing tunes and drinking tea. Tunes and tea and tunes. Play guitar, play the spoons. We're jigging and singing and swinging tonight. Well, tea and tunes and tea, that's the life for me. With tea and tunes, you're bound to feel alright. It's a mighty fine tradition when the songs begin to flow. Reminds us of our ancestors who wrote them long ago. Well, I'm thinking about the future. Well, I wonder where we'll be. I hope we'll all be singing tunes and drinking lots of tea. Well, tunes and tea and tunes. Play guitar, play the spoons. We're jigging and singing and swinging tonight. Well, tea and tunes and tea, that's the life for me. With tea and tunes, you're bound to feel alright. Tunes and tea and tunes. Play guitar, play the spoons. We're jigging and singing and swinging tonight. Well, tea and tunes and tea, that's the life for me. With tea and tunes, you're bound to feel alright. I said, with tea and tunes, you're bound to feel alright. Thank you, yeah. Oh, yeah. It's Bud the Spud from the bright red mud. He's rolling down the highway smiling. Yeah, the Spuds are big on the back of Bud's rig, and they're from Prince Edward Island. I said they're from Prince Edward Island. Well, from Charlottetown or from Summerside, he loads them on for the big long ride. He hops in the cab, he's off with the prize Sebagos. He's got to catch the boat to make Turmentine, then he rolls on down that New Brunswick line into Montreal. He comes just a-flying with another big load of potatoes. Yeah, it's Bud the Spud from the bright red mud, rolling down the highway smiling. And the Spuds are big on the back of Bud's rig, and they're from Prince Edward Island. I said they're from Prince Edward Island. Well, the Ontario Provincial Police don't think too much of Bud. Yeah, the cops have been looking for the son of a gun that's been ripping the tire off the 401. The name of the truck shines up in the sun. Green Gables. Well, then he hits Toronto about 7 o'clock. Backs her up against the terminal dock, and the boys gather round just to hear him talk about another big load of potatoes. It's Bud the Spud up on the bright red mud, rolling down the highway smiling. And the Spuds are big on the back of Bud's rig, and they're from Prince Edward Island. I said they're from Prince Edward Island. Well, I know a lot of people from east to west that like the Spuds from the island the best, 'cause they'll stand up to the hardest test right in your chowder. So if you see that big truck rolling by, wave your hand and wink your eye. It's Bud the Spud from old PEI with another big load of potatoes. It's Bud the Spud up on the bright red mud, rolling down the highway smiling. And the Spuds are big on the back of Bud's rig, and they're from Prince Edward Island. I said they're from Prince Edward Island. It's Bud the Spud from the bright red mud, rolling down the highway smiling. And he's got another big load of the best doggone potatoes that's ever been grown. And they're from Prince Edward Island. Yeah, they're from Prince Edward Island. I said they're from Prince Edward Island. Had to do that one, little Stompin' Tom. He would have been doing that at the Horseshoe Tavern not far from here, back in the 70s and 60s. was in the studio a few weeks ago recording this next song. It's called Bluebell. It'll be coming out in the next few months. Bluebell, falling under your soft spell. I never thought you'd look my way when skies were gray. Now all is well, I'm falling for you, Bluebell. Bluebell will take me out from my hard shell. It's a challenge to conceal the way I feel. In you I dwell, I'm falling for you, Bluebell. I wonder if the anchor is sinking. It might be best to not overthink it. Bluebell, I had my fair share of farewells, but I think that we might last. Forgive my past, unlock myself, I'm falling for you, Bluebell. I wonder if the anchor is sinking. It might be best to not overthink it. Bluebell will take me into a new realm. When you're gone, you're in my mind. Was this designed? We're parallel. I'm falling for you, Bluebell. I'm falling for you, Bluebell. I'm falling for you, Bluebell. Thank you. That's one of mine. Bluebell. Down the dusty mill lane, there's no grain left to grind. The old farmer's road left with no hay to bind. No sign of the families that once lined these roads. No foundations hidden in fields overgrown. Now the school road is quiet, no laughter resounds. The buses ride past it with kids bound for town. Oh, they can't walk to school for their schoolhouse is gone. A lone rusty swing set still sways on the lawn. And these back roads are richer than highways so smooth. Old stories are woven within every groove. On these tired little lanes, only road signs remain. For you can't put a place to the name. No, you can't put a place to the name. For you can't put a place to the name. No, you can't put a place to the name. There's a wharf at the end of the Cannery Road, where wind-weather shanties still wait for the loads. Now the old folks remember the cannery days, when boats full of lobsters sailed into the bay. And these back roads are richer than highways so smooth. Old stories are woven within every groove. On these tired little lanes, only road signs remain. For you can't put a place to the name. No, you can't put a place to the name. For you can't put a place to the name. No, you can't put a place to the name. Down the old station road rides a boy on a bike, and he stops by the trail side and picks up a spike. A piece of the railroad he clutches with care. A ghost whistle howls in the cool evening air. And tonight as I drift down this highway so smooth, I'll pass by the back roads, their dusty red grooves. On these tired little lanes, only road signs remain. For you can't put a place to the name. No, you can't put a place to the name. For you can't put a place to the name. No, you can't put a place to the name. Thank you. It's a little song I wrote about PEI, back roads, red dirt roads. All right, well, it's time for a moonshining song. Or as they call it, pochine. This could be a bottle of moonshine right here, but it's water, I think. Yep, it's water. This is called the Rare Old Mountain Dew. Oh, let the grasses grow and the water flow in the free and easy way. But give me enough of the rare old stuff that's made near Galway Bay. Policeman Hall from Donegal, Sligo and Leitrim too. We'll give them the slip and we'll take a sip of the rare old Mountain Dew. A skilly idle deedle dum, skilly idle idle dum, diddly I ride diddly hi day. A side deedle day dum, diddly idle idle dum, diddly hi diddly I day. Well, at the foot of the hill there's a neat little still where the smoke curls up to the sky. And by the smoke and the smell you'll plainly tell there's poaching growing nearby. For it fills the air with its odor rare to betwixt both me and you. While on a stroll you can take a bowl or a bucket of the Mountain Dew. A skilly idle idle dum, diddly idle idle dum, diddly hi ride diddly hi day. Idle diddle diddle dum, diddly idle idle dum, diddly hi diddly hi day. A skidle diddle diddle dum, diddly idle idle dum, diddly hi ride diddly hi day. Idle diddle diddle dum, diddly idle idle dum, diddly hi diddly hi day. Now learned men who use the pen have sung their praises high for the sweet poteen from Ireland's grain distilled from wheat and rye. Well, throw away your pills, it'll cure all ills, either pagan or Christian or Jew. Well, take off your coat, grease your throat with a bucket full of Mountain Dew. A skilly idle diddle dum, skilly idle diddle dum, skilly high ride dilly high day. A skilly idle diddle dum, dilly idle diddle dum, dilly high dilly high day. Let the grasses grow and the waters flow in the free and the easy way. Won't you give me enough of the rare old stuff that's made near Galway Bay? Policeman Hall from Donegal, Sligo and Lisbon too. We're gonna give them the slip and we'll take a sip of the rare old Mountain Dew. A hidle diddly hidle dum, diddly hidle diddle dum, skilly high ride dilly high day. A skidle diddle diddle dum, diddly hidle diddle dum, dilly high dilly high day. A skidle diddle diddle dum, diddly hidle diddle dum, skilly high ride dilly high day. Hidle diddle diddle dum, diddly hidle diddle dum, diddly high dilly high day. Well, gather up your pots and your old tin cans, the mash, the corn, the barley, and the bran. Run like the devil from the excise man, keep the smoke from rising, burning. Keep your eyes well peeled today, the excise man is on his way, looking for the mountain tea in the hills of Connemara. Gather up your pots and your old tin cans, and the mash, and the corn, and the barley, and the bran. Run like the devil from the excise man, keep the smoke from rising, burning. Now swing to the left, swing to the right, the excise man is done all right. Swinging up the tea in the broad daylight in the hills of Connemara. Gather up your pots, your old tin cans, the mash, the corn, the barley, and the bran. Run like the devil from the excise man, keep the smoke from rising, Barney, hey. For the butcher and a quart for Tom, bottle for old Father John to help the poor old dear along in the hills of Connemara. Gather up your pots and your old tin cans, the mash, the corn, the barley, and the bran. Run like the devil from the excise man, keep the smoke from rising, Barney. Gather up your pots, your old tin cans, and the mash, and the corn, and the barley, and the bran. Run like the devil from the excise man, keep the smoke from rising, Barney. Couple moonshining songs. We're covering the bases. We did moonshining. Let's try a little rum running song. Down by the shore in my old hut, cigarettes and songs of smut, smoke and mist and sea. Three fellas on a spree, 'twas Billy, Bob, and me. The night the tides were turned, drink a dwindling from our glass. Billy roars, I'm not half smashed, and this is all we've got. Aren't we a sorry lot? It seemed that all was lost the night the tides were turned. Those final swigs we savored long of treasured rum, so black and strong, and as the last went down, there came a jarring sound, a gunshot rang aloud, the night the tides were turned. We quickly darted out the door, oh, we cast our eyes upon the shore, a chase upon the sea, one boat our CMP, and one trying to flee, the night the tides were turned. Runners knew their time was spent. Over the side the cargo went, a sight to make you cry. Black rum, old Scotch and rye on ocean floor to lie, the night the tides were turned. When this excitement was complete, we We took off running to the beach. 'Twas off with rubber boots and on with birthday suits. 'Twas time to reap the fruit. That night the tides were turned. No diving in had left us cold. Our dories now held thick black gold. 'Twas of the highest grade, well worth the cost we paid. Well, sir, we had it made. That night the tides were turned. Thank you. Oh boy, yeah. That's another one of mine. The night the tides were turned. Farewell to Lower Frederick Street, River Mercy, fare thee well. I'm bound for California. It's a place that I know right well. So fare thee well, my own true love, and when I return united we will be. It's not the leaving of Liverpool that grieves me, but my darling, when I think of thee. Now I'm bound for California by way of stormy Cape Horn, and I will write a letter to thee, my love, when I am homeward bound. So fare thee well, my own true love, and when I return united we will be. It's not the leaving of Liverpool that grieves me, but my darling, when I think of thee. I've sailed on a Yankee clipper ship, Davy Crockett, well that's her name, and Burgess is the captain of that ship, and they say she's a floating shame. So fare thee well, my own true love, and when I return united we will be. It's not the leaving of Liverpool that grieves me, but my darling, when I think of thee. I've sailed with Burgess once before. I think I know the man right well. If a man's a sailor, he will get along, but if not, he's sure in hell. So fare thee well, my own true love, and when I return united we will be. It's not the leaving of Liverpool that grieves me, but my darling, when I think of thee. So fare thee well, my own my return, united we will be. It's not the leaving of Liverpool that grieves me, but my darling, when I think of thee. I love that tune, The Leaving of Liverpool. The song is called Fiddle Playing Girl. Fiddle playing girl, don't you move to the city. Summer sun lingers in your hair. Stick around with me and we'll make sweet music. Just the two of us, that's a mighty fine pair. If you leave the Highlands, you lose your freckles. We'll find love if you stick around. When you play your fiddle tunes, I start crying, knowing one day you'll set your fiddle down. It's gonna be a cold and a quiet winter. I wish you'd change your plans. It's gonna be a cold and a quiet winter. I'm gonna be a cold and a quiet man. Yeah, it's gonna be a cold and a quiet winter. And I wish you'd change your plans. Gonna be a cold and a quiet winter. Gonna be a cold and a quiet man. Fiddle playing girl, now you moved to the city, left your fiddle, flew the pen. Guess I'm never gonna hear your sweet music. Guess I'm never gonna hold your hand again. It's gonna be a cold and a quiet winter. I wish you'd change your plans. It's gonna be a cold and a quiet winter. Gonna be a cold and a quiet man. Yeah, it's gonna be a cold and a quiet winter. And I wish you'd change your plans. It's gonna be a cold and a quiet winter. Gonna be a cold and a quiet man. Thank you.
Okay, everyone, how we doing? I have in my hand the results of the shucking competition. Are we ready? Could I get Brooke and Chris Minocchio and Julius up here, please? Sure. I'll let you know. Where's Minocchio? While we wait for Chris Minocchio to get here, how about a huge round of applause for Shane Pendergast? I love to say I told you so I told you so. Where's Chris Minocchio and Brooke? Brookie? Brooke Kotak to the stage, please. Chris Minocchio to the stage, please. Chris Minocchio. Could we get the Canadian Oyster Shucking champion to the stage? There he is, there he is. And Brooke Kotak, please. And Brooke Kotak. Julius. And there's Brooke. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, excellent, nice. Not only was the qualifying heats unbelievably close, so was the final. Let's go! So, in fact, the judges tell me that there was a miscalculation between second place and first place initially, to the point where they didn't know who won. But they sorted it out. And here are the results, ladies and gentlemen. The cleanest plate, the plate that looked the best and had the fewest mistakes. There's only 3 here. With a flat time of 1:47 and an adjusted time of 2:11, that is only 24 seconds of penalties. Ladies and gentlemen, the Queen Shucker of Rodney's, Brooke Kotak. Brooke is also the current holder of the cleanest plate in Canada at the Tyne Valley Canadian Championships. This is her gig. There's nobody cleaner, ladies and gentlemen. That's how she rolls. Now, it was tight, boys. It was tight. That's all I can say. If we were in PEI, boys, it'd be tight. Okay. So, after calculations and miscalculations, second place at 1:56. With a flat time that is unmarked on my paper. And therefore irrelevant. Ladies and gentlemen, from the back of the house, way back, our manager, our sommelier in force. Second place, ladies and gentlemen, Julius Chappell. With a flat time of 2 minutes and 1 second. So therefore, ladies and gentlemen, in first place and still reigning champion at 1:56, Chris Minocchio. I know. Were you nervous, Chris?
Big time, big time. If there weren't kids here.
Yeah, but there are kids here. Reigning champ and still the fastest guy in Toronto, ladies and gentlemen, Chris Minocchio. I want to thank everybody for coming out this afternoon. It's been an unbelievable success, our first time out of the gates on St. Patrick's Day. Thank you so much for purchasing tickets in advance. Thank you for coming down. We really appreciate it. Shane appreciates it. He flew all the way from Charlottetown yesterday, ladies and gentlemen.
It's been great. Thanks.
We're going to play a few more tunes. And after that, we've got a lot of work to do to restore the dining room. We have a Friday night at Rodney's normal dinner service happening in about an hour after we finish. So I would ask everybody to please seek out your server, grab a bill, settle up your bill. If you need a bit more time, make your way to the bar. We've allotted some space and time afterwards for people to hang out, maybe have one more drink and finish up your bills. Ladies and gentlemen, to take us home
Here we go.
The best looking guy in Trackety, ladies and gentlemen. Look at this guy. Ladies, 25 and single, Mr. Shane Pendergast.
I'm going to give you a new song. We don't have any deer on PEI. We just have foxes and coyotes. That's as big as it gets. But we had a deer that swam over from New Brunswick this fall. And he made it to PEI. He walked around. People couldn't believe it. But he had a very tragic ending, which you'll hear about in this song called Island Deer. And the chorus is, you'll always be our island deer, but not our islander. Well, perhaps you saw us waving to you from our friendly shore. Perhaps you smelled a clam bake, couldn't take it anymore. Perhaps a bear was hungry and your situation grim. We're not quite sure what set you off upon your epic swim. Now it took a lot of courage for to set off in the strait. You'd heard about old PEI, it sounded pretty great. You'd spoken with a couple birds, they said the clay was red. You had to see it for yourself, but now poor dear, you're dead. Yes, island dear, you landed here on fair Prince Edward Isle. We're sorry for the outcome, wish you could have stayed a while. Your trip was short but notable, well, you kicked up quite a stir. You'll always be our island dear, but not our islander. Yes, you'll always be our island dear, but not our islander. Oh, the water, it was calm that day, oh precious island dear. A long old trek it proved to be for you, a pioneer. You smelt the lobster cooking, and it led you to the shore. If only you had known the dreadful tragedy in store. Upon the beach you looked around, it wasn't all that great. Well, you figured that you'd seen enough, the hour was getting late. But the water had grown choppy, so you couldn't cross the foam. But you didn't want to pay the toll to take the bridge back home. And island dear, you landed here on fair Prince Edward Isle. We're sorry for the outcome, wish you could have stayed a while. Your trip was short but notable, you kicked up quite a stir. You'll always be our island dear, but not our islander. Yes, you'll always be our island dear, but not our islander. Now you figured you might stay a while, the place would grow on you. You might befriend a silver fox to make a motley crew. You climbed the dune and crossed the road, then ran out of luck. You might have come to like it here, if not for that big truck. Yes, island dear, you landed here on fair Prince Edward Isle. We're sorry for the outcome, wish you could have stayed a while. Your trip was short but notable, you kicked up quite a stir. You'll always be our island dear, but not our islander. You'll always be our island dear, but not our islander. True story. Oh, thanks so much to everybody at Rodney's and Kelly for getting me out. Enjoy the rest of your St. Paddy's Day. I'll send you home with a good, lively one. Day's work had left me weary. I went home, got into bed. It wasn't a long time later when I got my second wind. Yeah, I went down to see the fellas. They cheered as I walked in, poured me a drink of whiskey, and I got my second wind. Now I had been feeling badly, my worries filled to the brim. Once I poured poured out my heartache. I got my second wind. Yes, I felt my luck start turning, and I had to go all in. Suddenly I was living when I got my second wind. Hey. Tomorrow I'll be hurting, and I will be on the mend. Tonight it don't much matter, 'cause I got my second wind. And if your life has no color, you'll get to your deathbed. You'll leave your window open, wanting a second wind. Hey, let's take her home. Happy St. Paddy's Day. Yeah. Sláinte.
Ladies and gentlemen, should we have one more from Shane? It's not too often we get an award-nominated singer-songwriter in the Oyster House, so let's make him feel really, really special, ladies and gentlemen. He's come all the way from PEI, from Tracadie, Mr. Shane Pendergast, ladies and gentlemen.
This is awesome. Really great day.
Oh, let's do a classic. Oh, the summertime is coming, and the trees are sweetly blooming, and the wild mountain thyme grows around the blooming heather. Sing along if you know it. Will you go, oh lassie, go? And we'll all go together to pluck wild mountain thyme from around the blooming heather. And will you go, oh lassie, go? Now I will build my love a bower by yon pure crystal fountain. Oh, and on it I will pile all the flowers of the mountain. And will you go, oh lassie, go? And we'll all go together to pluck wild mountain thyme from around the blooming heather. And will you go, oh lassie, go? If my true love, she were gone, I would surely find no other to pluck wild mountain thyme from around the blooming heather. And will you go, oh lassie, go? And we'll all go together to pluck wild mountain thyme from around the blooming heather. And will you go, oh lassie, go? And we'll all go together to pluck wild mountain thyme all around the blooming heather. Will you go, oh lassie, go? Thanks, Rodney's. Thanks, everybody.